Cat's out the bag. We're producing a 1/48 scale brand new tool, Sea King.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Airfix and Chill on a Monday night. It's a bit wet down here in the south. I don't know what it's like around the country, but it's been a bit of a wet and miserable one. But anyway, welcome all. We've got a big panel tonight. I've been asked for the six of us who are in our little circle of scale modelling. Not that anybody else isn't in the circle, but those who are asked to attend the Airfix Day for the launch of the Westland Sea King, and just to talk about how they got on the day. You know, it's a privilege and an honour to be invited by Airfix to one of these fantastic launch days where we get. I had no idea. Well, I had an idea, but I was wrong. I thought it'd be a Lynx because they haven't done a 172 Lynx for such a long time. So when I saw the introduction, that introduction's my one, but I've pulled it from the Airfix introduction because I don't know we copyrighted for their music. So I added different music to it and just spiced it up a little bit. Yeah, it was a case of going along and seeing that we were going to be getting a brand new 148 Sea King, and I don't know, I was a wow. I don't know about the rest of you, but it was definitely a wow factor from me. Definitely. So we're going to talk about it tonight. We've got the presentation, obviously, that we were given. I did a live feed of it, but I have actually got the PDF of the presentation by Chris and Luke. Any questions in the chat, just ask us, if we know any more information about it, because we heard on the day. But yeah, it's going to be pretty much a free for all. So if anybody's got any questions, let us know. William Thomas says, "Good job keeping that Sea King a secret, Moz and Co." When Airfix says, "Come down to historic helicopters," did you have much of a clue what they would be releasing? Yeah, but we were sworn to secrecy, weren't we, guys? To be fair, it was very hush hush. So. And there was others there as well. It wasn't just us. There was Flory Models. Phil Flory was there. And I had a chat to him, and it was really, he's quite an interesting character. Got on all right with him. Gary Stuff was there. Pardon, sorry?
Champion.
Yeah, Champion Scale Models was there as well, because he only lived around the corner. So he beat us all to the punch with the scale model review, wasn't it?
He was first out, wasn't
he? He was first out, so... But yeah, it's and as I say, I'm humbled to be asked to go to these things. But for me, it's a great day out because I meet up with the rest of the guys as well. So and have a chat. But did any of you think it was going to be a Sea King? Let's put that to the floor.
I had a look at the website and thought, it's got to be one of three.
Yeah,
definitely a helicopter.
Yeah, definitely a helicopter.
Given the location.
Could have been a horse.
Could have been a horse. Yeah, could have been a horse. You were right there, weren't you, James? Because you were texting Dale, weren't you? And you told him.
But I obviously, as you said, we was got to be secretive about these things. Couldn't say anything to no one. So actually, last week while we were doing the live, I was texting Dale. One of the texts I sent to him was, obviously thank you for the invite, but also I'm really looking forward to unveiling the Sea King. I've got a funny feeling you're going to make my month. So I got a very awkward reply back. I think if I remember correctly, it was like, you reckon, or something like that. But yeah, he was a little squeaky about it, but Dale's very good at keeping the secret. So
he is cool as ice, though, isn't he? He gives You wouldn't play poker against him, would you? I don't think.
No.
He's got no tail, is he? There's no tail from Dale. He's very, very good.
Oh no, he has got a tail. Yeah, there is a tail. Yeah, he's definitely got a tail.
I've never seen it.
I won't tell you, just in case I do. There's the tail, indeed. Thank you very much, Dale. I can't repeat it on air. Yeah, we sit and have a game of cards. I will test my theory of Dale's tail, and I'll let you know if I was wrong. Probably because he's also the master of misdirection as well. So, but not on this occasion, Dale. So thank you very much. And yes, I'll repeat back what you said to me. I can't say any more than that.
I knew there was going to be a helicopter release soon, because right the way back from the first time I met Luke, he always mentioned helicopters in his little spiel. If you know what I mean. Because he's very fond of helicopters, and there is that space in the Airfix world of helicopters. They don't have a lot, do they? Really. But the 172 Sea King, this is, if you go through the development, the 172 Sea King's a bloody good kit, and Chris designed that. Was that 4 years ago? He was saying, and then he developed. They got pushed into doing the 148, and has done an absolute phenomenal job. So it was absolutely fantastic. I've come away excited. I've got my kit down here on the side of me, and I'm ready to have a go with it, but I'm not really ready to have a go with it. If you know what I mean. I'm going to wait for others to find the folks first, so I can watch their video and then do it right. If you know what I mean. From an outsider like you, Sully, I suppose you saw the announcement on it. What was your take on it at the time, being somebody who wasn't actually there?
Well, I don't rub it in. Bastard. It was actually. I thought it was actually quite a surprise, actually, because I got to admit I wasn't sure even after last week when we was all trying to figure out what it was. I wouldn't even have guessed that, but I'm quite stoked about it. Actually, I was actually at work when the announcement was on, so I just quickly was dipping in and out of it, and I had to look twice. So I was really really chuffed with that one. So yeah, and the detail looks absolutely amazing. Yeah, so I'll be looking forward to getting my hands on that at some point. Maybe putting a bird's nest in it before anybody else says it.
Definitely a bird's nest. Definitely a bird's nest. So, which scheme are you going to be doing then, James? LPJ models.
Ooh, good question. I've been deliberating, but it's probably going to be the same as other James, Mr. Model Officer. Maybe the grey with the red, potentially.
So we all go for the same.
It's just
no.
striking, isn't it?
It's going to be a helicopter off, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Chips are down.
Couple of things. What about you then, Matt? Model Minutes. What are you going to? Which scheme are you tempted to do?
I like the look of the blue one.
Yeah,
it's almost the same color as my logo.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah, I know. When I was talking to Chris, he said there's certain details on the molding which technically don't represent the very early versions of the Sea King, but I'm quite happy to live with them.
Yeah. What about you, Nini? Which one are you going to do?
The grey with the red one, red nose.
So yeah, so grey and red. And what about you then, Alex? Which one are you doing?
Like Matt, I'm doing the early one, the HAS one in blue.
A lot of people said that.
Although now you mentioned the logo being blue, I think I should have really done the one with the orange on it, shouldn't I? Missed the chip there.
Yeah.
I think Model Millets really, as the blue is the same as your logo. I think you should go all out and just get some masks made up and make it Model Millets Sea King.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. Yeah,
that's a good suggestion.
Why not?
Yeah, maybe. but then I won't be able to do it as with the cartograph ones.
Ultimate branding.
Well, that's sort of true and sort of not. It just means 2 kits, doesn't it? So.
Oh, I'll go buy another one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't need any more kits.
Secretly, you do.
Yeah, you need
all the kits.
So, on the day, we had this board put up, which was historic helicopters, and in cooperation with Airfix. We were there, and I forgot. We will go on to the historic helicopters because I really want to push that they are a charity. Who's making noise?
Sorry.
All right. We will go onto the website because they, remember this is a charity. I know they got 6 Sea Kings, or was it 7 Sea Kings? It is 6, isn't it? With 7 that they are in the process of doing up, isn't it? But they've got a whole range of helicopters. We're going to go back to the website in a bit, but this was the press study day, they've called it. It should be just launch day, really. And just going through the slides, we saw this as the film ended. We didn't get to see the extra bit of that film where they had Chris and Luke discussing the build as such, the research and the design of it. We had it live, didn't we, guys? We're using these slides.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I think the box art is one of the best that I've seen from Airfix. I just think that just looks absolutely fabulous. I thought there was a lighthouse, but clearly I'm wrong. The lighthouse isn't on this one, is it?
I think it's below.
Yeah,
is it below? Is it?
The band
off,
where it says 148, that's covering it.
That's covering it, is it? Yeah. That's a pity, isn't it? Because the one I saw was with the lighthouse. But the first bit was quite simple. Is let's scale up the 72 Sea King. How hard can it be? And then they did all the research, and everything. And this was like going through all the parts and everything, the breakdown of it. And they're talking about the scanning of it and how hard it was to scan, where the rotor is, etc. It was just like really, it was quite in depth, the actual talk.
I think it's worth mentioning, that they didn't just scale up the 172nd one. It turned out that it was a massive endeavor to go bigger. So they basically started from scratch.
So,
best way, really.
It was the best way, I think. And they went to, is it Dorset, to picture the XV666? Because that was James's idea, wasn't it? Is that right? That he wanted to go through the four lives that the XV666 Damien had, which I think is an absolute brilliant bit of marketing, to be honest, isn't it? Now, I'm just saying here now, if you knew Luke from the beginning, he never had a beard. So this shows you how long ago they were researchers, because he's just started to come out. He's just started puberty there, and he's got a bit of growth on his chin. So, so it must have been a good 18 months ago that they started on this, maybe even 2 years ago that they started on the research of this. So, I just saw that. I thought, oh, yeah, he has got his beard. Because I remember without a beard the first time I met him. Don't think he had a beard. Then they did the 3D scanning, which was quite interesting when he talks about that. And then they took all the pictures. And this is the bit they were saying that they just couldn't get to scan this bit, could they? It was really hard work to scan it. But it's so intricate, isn't it, guys? It's such a... I don't know what it's like on the tooling. I've not had a proper look, but, there's a lot of bits there, isn't it?
Yeah, done an excellent job on it.
Yeah, they have done an excellent job. So there's more of the 3D scanning, and then inside, and then they critiqued it, and then they went into the design. This is when Chris took over, wasn't it, from the scan data? So they scanned it all different ways: interior scan, Then he put it into parts, you know, blah blah blah, part creation, and then he mentioned on the front he had overlaps on the front, didn't he? He had to get right on the nose. He had to get the overlap panels right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So that was quite interesting to see him talk about that. And you know, again, overlap surfaces are a pain, so he was able to get that almost perfect. Then the riveting experiment, which is, I thought this was quite interesting. I don't know about you guys, but the software they use is that if they did the riveting straight on the model, it would slow it down. It would like take 2 or 3 seconds for it to update. So what they did, they bolted on like a separate model with the rivets on. Did I get that bit right? Does that sound about right to you
that's
guys?
pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just Pramajit's idea, and it worked. So, and you know, and this is the detail up, and that's it. Now, there's a lot of talk about this, that a lot of people are disappointed it wasn't raised panel lines, that it's recessed. But I'm a guy who built models in the 1980s and 1990s, and I hated raised rivets.
I was gonna say, are we at the point of now going back to wanting raised? Like, I thought that was the whole thing, that everybody likes the recessed.
Yeah.
If your kit doesn't come with any panel lines or rivets on there, what do you do to get them on there? What kind of tool do you use?
Buy another one.
We have a
You use a rivet tool, don't you? And what kind of rivets does a rivet tool leave? It leaves
recessed ones, yeah.
indented ones. So if this did have raised, I think Airfix are in that hard position where if they went for raised, people would be complaining that it's raised, sanding them all off, and then doing them again scribed. It was an artistic decision because it's so much easier for them to show up like that than they are when they're raised.
I think there's still a bit of an argument whether in particular scale, I think below, well, definitely 72nd, but it's debatable in 48th whether actual, at that scale with the rivets, raised rivets actually is the right way to go. Because would they be in the actual right scale? That was a long way of saying that.
I was just going to say, was the problem with 148 scale, 172, you wouldn't be able to see raised rivets anyway on a 140, on a 172 or 148. Exactly. Surely.
And that's what I'm saying. 48 is, I think, is a debatable one whether you would actually have raised rivets and whether they'd actually be, if it was scaled up, they'll be like, you know, like ping pong balls or something.
Yeah, but to get the list scale, they would be about 0.1 millimeters raised.
But I mean, this does a job,
nothing,
doesn't it? I mean, Edard, because I'm an old make Edard, and all theirs, even the ones that probably should have raised rivets, are all like this, and I think they look absolutely bang on.
It's all about depth, isn't it? As well, if you put a wash on a rivet, it will ping out at you whether it was raised or whether it was recessed. Surely.
Yeah.
I think raised are harder to clean up.
Yeah.
Airfix can't please everyone.
Around them all, and, you know.
If you're not airbrushing and you're going to brush paint this and your paint's quite thick, you're going to lose quite a lot of those rivets anyway.
Yeah.
So, like James says, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think at the end of the day,
they're just going to get criticised either way they do it, aren't they? So.
Yeah, they're going to get complaints one way or the other, and I think that having them recessed, there's going to be less complaints than having them raised. I really do. Like if they were raised, you'd have even more people complaining.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they made a conscious choice, and as Chris said, you know, the designer, one of the considerations was us as modelers, because it's easier to repair like recessed rivets than it is raised. So if you have a joining surface that you need to, you know, do something to fill and sand, they were thinking about our experience. So to me, people, you know, coming in and complaining about it is, you know, they are not thinking of Airfix in the way that Airfix are thinking of them, which I think tells a story by itself. You know, that was one of the things that really impressed me, was that, you know, they're thinking about us building the model, not just, you know, they're putting this thing together and then just throwing it out there. You know, thinking about what is our experience in building the model, what's going to be easier for us to do. You know, which I think that's just, you know, you can't ask much more of a company than that.
Just put that comment back up again, Fenris. I thought it was quite interesting. Yeah, to produce, where was it? If you stand 2 meters away from the real thing and try to tell whether they're raised or countersunk, you know what I mean? And that's a fair cop to that, you know. I think you know. Yeah, I think that's pretty. That's basically says it all. And when you're saying about the ethos of Airfix as designers now, and we see a lot of it in Pramajit's design. He puts himself as the modeler, how he would like to build the model. You know, what things could he add to make the model easier for himself to build? And I kind of like that a lot from him, and I think that's coming through. It's like when you do the Spitfire Mark 5C, the starter set one, the way it clips in, that canopy clips in, and a little bit of cement at the back just to hold it in. You know, that's perfect. I wish all model kits had a canopy like that now. Do you know what I mean? You're not just starter sets. But yeah, we see that quite a lot. Another question that came up was from Aaron Nichols, and if you can answer this, I find it interesting that it's double hulled. Is the real helicopter that way, or was that done for modelling purposes?
I think it was just to represent the inner padding around the hull, sound deadening. You know that, however many inches gap between the walls and the fabric.
Yeah, because there's a lot of padding in it. You know, when you went into that one that was, you know, in the workshop, there was padding everywhere, wasn't there? You know,
it is. They're loud things. You need it.
Yeah, yeah, they are loud. Well, we heard it, didn't we? When they put in the what's it called away? You know, folding up the rotors. Yeah, that was good.
Great place to hold fart.
Yeah. Another thing that was really interesting from Chris was this. When he was scanning the sponsor shake, because he didn't have a scan for the 72. Is that right? He didn't have a scan, but he was really happy. He was really happy that he didn't have to make too much of, and like the 72nd was almost spot on to the one, you know, to make it to 148, because all he had was photographs, if I remember rightly, of that. And he got it up. So he was really chuffed with himself that there was very little difference between the 172nd one that he designed to having the complete 3D scan of it, and he wasn't that far off. And you know, there's those little stories that they tell, isn't it? It really makes it, you know, really engaging.
I seem to remember him saying that he needed to make it a little bit longer.
Yeah,
because he hadn't quite got it right. But it's the attention to detail that stands out in what he was saying.
Yeah, but just look, if I could, I can see the arrow there on there. I think you can, can't you? There's, you know, where the like I think that's a filler cap, bang on there, and he's got it just right where the rivets are going down. It's like almost spot on, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, so he mentioned that as being one of his victories from doing this, for doing the 172, then the 148. And then he said about the difference in the 72nd took 5 months of design, 6 months tooling, and 130 parts. And it basically doubled up again, didn't it? You know, it took 10 months of design, this one, 9 months of tooling, and then three times the amount of parts?
They've done really well.
Yeah. You were saying there, Hardy?
I'm just saying that they've done amazingly well to keep this secret.
Yeah.
In the age of the internet and all that carry on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be too excited to say something, I would, I think. If I was designing it, like, I'd be like, oh, look what I'm doing, look what I'm doing.
Yeah. That's it. Whether it was just me, but when I saw this, I don't know whether it's just me or you guys, but that, you know, when they put the biro next to it, so you can, you know, scale check to make sure they're not getting too intricate with the detail, if you know what I mean. They have like a scanned biro or a bic, they call it, don't they, to make it so they know what they're looking at via a pencil. So basically, it's a length of 2
interesting
pencils,
way of, yeah.
You know, so. And Models for Heroes were giving out pencils saying this pen is 1-to-1 scale, which I thought was quite cool. Yeah. They talked about the tooling and the sprue layout and this. What's EDM again? Can somebody remind me what EDM was?
Oh, that was the electroplating. So the small details are carved into copper, and then the copper is electroplated into the steel or aluminium, whatever the other tool's made out of, because it's too fine to do it just directly with the manual tools. So it's electroplating it effectively, or spark welding or something.
So it's not the electric dance music processing.
No.
I was going to say that.
Basically, the tooling has its own photo etch embroidered into it, like, isn't it?
Kind of,
So yeah, and then they see that the modes there.
That's
then
really cool.
They have their test shots, and they have
One thing, Moss, on the parts layout is another thing that Chris said, which just goes to the point that we made before about them thinking about the modeler, is that they were looking at where to put parts on the sprue. They don't just look where it fits, which they said is kind of how it used to be done. It's now also for sequence of building, so you're not flipping between sprues all the time through the build. And I can attest to that because I've just done the landing pods, and they're all on one sprue. So you don't have to keep going through sprues. I think there's 6 main sprues in this, and they're pretty big. So if you were going between them all the time, it would be pretty wearing. Yeah. So just that attention to detail, again, thinking about us and our experience rather than just putting stuff where it's easiest for them. I think again, it's that to me was the most impressive thing of the day. Was really Airfix's commitment to us as modelers rather than just them as a maker of stuff.
And I've noticed that from a lot of their more recent stuff in general. Even this Hellcat from 2018, everything for the engine was initially on sprue, whatever it was, L, and then the next set was sprue K. So the fact that they put that energy and that time into it does speak loads. It really does.
Yeah. John Parker just said, did you know that the US Sea King only has 5 tail rotor blades instead of 6 on the Westland built aircraft? Not quite true, because the original ones had 5, and then when they changed the engine, the Gnome engine, to a more powerful one, they went to 6. So we're not too sure at what year they changed it from a 5 to a 6. We're assuming it's 1980, between 82 and 86. They changed it, but the original Sea Kings all were 5, and then they moved when they changed the engine. Is it the Gnome 1200? I think they said they went up to the 6. So, and you do have both choices, both props 5 and 6 in the in the kit itself. Which we'll have a look at the kit later on anyway when we go onto Nunu's bench to have a look. So so we got to that bit.
And it's all the same one, right? The XV 666 or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's all but when they upgraded the engines, we think it was 1980, between 82 and 86 is what we got the impression. I think it was the 3rd iteration. They then upgraded. It's called the Gnome engine. Is that what I hear right?
Yeah.
Because they then put that in the other helicopter that they've got there. Was it the Whirlwind? They put it in. This engine is absolutely sound as a pound. So, you got your test shots here. Sorry, go on, carry on.
Oh, I was just gonna ask that. Does that mean that whatever the older scheme was, it comes with 6 rotors for that one, and then the later schemes all just 5, or is it kind of future proofing?
No. They I think the first 2 schemes have 5, and the last 2 schemes use the 6.
Okay.
I'm sure that's what they said, but we'll have a look in a bit. Now,
I think it's only the first one that has the 5.
The first one, is it? Okay.
I think somebody just said it was the change to the HS3, and this kit covers HS1, and then it was upgraded to HS5, so it kind of skipped a generation.
Okay, fair enough. When they were doing the test shots, they realised that they don't know how they did it, but they got it 0.5 millimeter out, didn't they? And they had to readjust all these. Can you see where the the pins had gone over almost onto the sprue gate there. So they had to move all that up one, didn't they? And you can see where there was gaps as well. So they had so they had to look at that.
These are really interesting. You don't see a lot of these back and forths between the manufacturers and the the mold places.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see. I've seen pages of them, and so many corrections of, this part's not square enough.
Yeah,
you're missing the rivet here, and like the ejection pins on the screen. It's mad to see how many corrections they've got to go through before a kit is actually ready to go.
Yeah. Like this one on the right here, the injector pin markers cause an assembly issue because it's just one big fat bit of chunk there right next to the pin, isn't it? Like, it's like, yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
John
rotated it somehow 90 degrees, hadn't they? And got the chamfer the wrong way around.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Boss, John has just said in the chat that the upgraded engines were fitted just in time for the Falklands in '82.
Yeah, 82 was it? Thank you. There was a lot of. We asked the question, and nobody seemed to. And I think even on Flory Models' live stream, they were trying to work out what year it was, and they said between 1982 and 1986 was the change. So what was the Falklands? Falklands was 82, wasn't it? 83. Yeah. And my uncle was in the Falklands, yeah. So, and then, go on, carry on.
So I was going to say, I think because I tried looking up when that conversation was going on Flores, and I think I found roughly 79, it seemed to be. But,
was it? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that was Wikipedia, so.
Yeah, well, Wikipedia is accurate. By the way, folks, if you're liking this chat tonight, will you please give this a like? And I promise you that you'll receive an unexpected amount of money from a loved one if you click like on this one tonight. Okay, right. So we've got the test shots there of inside. Now, was it the winch? Here's a little mini kit on its own. You could actually build the winch up as like a little mini kit.
Isn't it the anti-submarine mod or something?
Was it that? Was it?
There was that dipping sonar in the middle there.
Yeah. There's like a little mini kit. He said when this screen came up, he said that's like a mini kit in itself that you build it up and you can weather it and do what you want with it. Then you just push it in and just glue it in position. Which I thought that was a nice little touch as well.
Yeah, Sorry. That's right. One of the other nice touches on there as well with the decals is that you can have the screen on that blank, or you can have it actually so it's got like a round green decal, so you can have it live. So that's quite cool.
That's excellent. What were you going to say, James?
With that, the sonar, was it lowered into the water? I'm pretty ignorant with these sort of things. So the helicopter would hover there, lower it into the water, send out a ping, and then zoom off again.
Yep. Yep. So that whole the little sonar is, you can just see in the middle of that that kind of like rounded bullet head shape thing. That's the top of the dipping sonar, and then that whole assembly is the winch that like lowers it down into the water.
Right.
So you can build that. It's a complete separate assembly. It's only used on the HAS versions, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you can see almost zero of it when it's in the kit. It's a lovely little assembly. The screens and the radar, the sonar operators station, they've got great detail, all the controls and stuff. You can just about see the winch operators station from.
We're going to need LEDs.
Yeah, LEDs. I'll tell you what, the amount of kit bashing you could do to this, though, in it, the amount you could really get involved in this, and I'm expecting good things from you, LPJ, on this one.
I've never built a helicopter in my life, so I'm actually looking forward to trying it.
Oh, fantastic!
Do they have any figures to go in that, or is it just?
That was a bit of a conversation, wasn't it, about the pilots? Because when we were there, we met the only female pilot, civilian female pilot, the Sea King civilian, and she said that if you want to do pilots, you got to do female ones as well. Unless you get your milli put out and add the bits and the bobs that you need to make it into a female pilot. I don't know. So yeah,
there's 2 more parts to put on.
Yeah, 2 more parts. Yeah. Yeah, get some of those what are they called? Those rivets to stick on or something. You know, that make it to a woman pilot. Yeah.
Well,
But it's
just making conversation of challenged Edward to create a photo etch adaptation to the P tube. So it's
the P tube.
unisex.
I didn't see the P tube. I should have gone looking for that. We mentioned it.
Oh, how could you miss the P tube? It's the
I've
first
got a
thing
photo
you
of it
get in the
somewhere. Hang on.
aircraft, and
P-tube.
and also it's chrome.
Is it
That was the
chrome?
big-
Is it?
That was the big open on the podcast. Was the chrome P tube?
Yeah, Malcolm was absolutely fascinated with it, and in fact, I had to drag him away from the Belgian version because the P tube was larger, and he was in awe.
I said there's some of the stories of when they first get an engineer in there and saying it was a communications device or something.
Yes, internal intercom.
Yep.
You have to shout down it and get your lips around it to make sure you can be heard.
Yeah.
And they got him to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's included in the kit apparently, a piss tube.
So that's
included in the kit.
stage 3 of the instructions.
Wow. Fantastic.
And that you can actually see through the open entrance door.
You can, yeah.
It's actually the first thing that greets you when you get into the Sea King is the
Yeah.
P-tube.
I didn't see it, mind you. I was too busy.
And they also said that the biggest problem with it is when it gets a kink in the tube, because it has to be cleaned out. So the mechanics really don't like the P tube.
Fantastic. But just seeing that's some of the the slides there of the detail inside. It's incredible. And like John Parker's just said there, those instruments will be a real challenge for those that like to paint them by hand. Very nice though. So all you hairy stickers out there who like a little bit of a challenge, this will be the one for you, I think, for that one.
I was really impressed with the fidelity of the control panels and the instrument panels. They're really, really good on this.
I was
You
gonna
know,
say, like,
something Airfix, so sometimes have been a bit sloppy with in the past. You know, just slap a decal on, sorted. But they're really, really good.
Yeah.
yeah, I had a lot of fun on the 72nd scale one. So looking at this, I'm like, whenever I can finally get my hands to it, I'm excited to get that bit done right there. That looks like a lot of fun, just in and of itself.
And while you're talking about the detail that you can add to this kit, the compartment for the engines is suitable for you to add your engine in if you want to. I mean, obviously, there probably will be aftermarket for that at some point.
Yeah.
But it would be quite fun to do a bit of scratch building in that compartment. So it's there. They've really taken a lot of care and consideration into what modelers may want to do with it. So it's got a lot of opportunities.
Just as an aside, can you see the floor on this one? That you can see there are raised rivets on the floor here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The raised rivet scenario was basically they did look at it, but they couldn't get enough raised rivets on it. The amount of detail they could put onto the outside wouldn't bear the energy, and plus also the team pretty much thought that raised rivets would make it look crap. So not the words they used, but yeah. So I think at the end of the day, not that we're going to harp on about it, but I think they've done the best they can for the scale, and I think gives it enough to tell the story. So you know, it's one of those things you have to compromise on somewhere along the line when you're looking at small details.
At the end of the day, you're not going to please everyone, are you? You just physically
And it
can't.
says a lot that the only negative point that people are pointing out is just the rivets.
Yeah, but
It's
if you're that much of a rivet counter, you can always fill those divots in.
Yeah.
Divots are the wrong phrase. Sorry about that, Daryl. But yeah, if you really want to go around there and put a little touch of something in all those rivets, their location is all there for you, so you can do it if you want to. But that's a painstaking job for little effort, little result, really. I would think personally.
Yeah. As I said, there are those who will always look down their nose at Airfix, and they're those that that have seen the light that we can, for me personally, Airfix has been right the way through my scale modeling journey in my life, and I've got a lot to thank Airfix for when I'm building models, and sometimes I don't really care too much about details like people do. It's like for me, I was talking to the the chap who does the Airfix magazine, and I was looking at their whirlwind, and because and I just said I said to her as a joke, I said I'm going to make the one that Airfix did at the Vintage Classic into a Sea Rescue one. It was always different. It's different. I said, look, I'm going to paint that one yellow and put decals on it, and I'm going to be happy with that. And he kind of laughed because he saw my point that sometimes all it takes for me is to change the color and put a different set of decals on, and I'll be absolutely fine. I'm not worried about the shape of the nose being wrong or anything. That's just me. But there are going to be people who will always find fault, and we kind of what's it called? We kind of get too much into the detail of this. A lot of it's never seen. So you're going to moan about something, it's just for the sake of moaning.
To be totally honest with you, we have a scale model in my community that he's been scale modeling for over 40 years, and he's very knowledgeable of all aircrafts and all the things. And he was talking about this. He's like, "Oh, plus I saw your review video, and I'm gonna say shame on Airfix for the recessed rivets. Should be raised, blah blah." But in all the fairness, that's the only thing I can find on the kit. Apart from that, they've done absolutely a great job, and I can let that go away because all the rest of the kit looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, exactly.
We all like different things, though. I mean, that's what makes us as modelers a massive, diverse group. I like adding stupid, tiny little extra details. Some people don't. It's just what makes us so diverse. We've all got the choice.
Yeah.
End of the day is what you like to build. End of.
It's personal interpretation as well. It's your hobby.
Yeah.
You do it to make yourself happy, I guess, most people. You know what I mean? It's not. It's being in competition with other people is just like not always healthy. It's just do what makes you happy.
Yep. You put what you want to into the hobby.
It's your
Yeah.
And let's face it, there's going to be models out there. They're going to be wiring looms in there and all sorts of stuff because maybe they've got a passion for the aircraft, maybe they served on the aircraft, and they want to make it as accurate to their memory as possible. So, any model really is a basis for you to experiment and go forward and improve the vision as you see it. Some people will just stick it together, paint it, and be very, very happy with it. Others will go to town with it. Looking at the interior now, I mean, while you've been talking, I've just been thinking, wouldn't that be cool if you could drop that sonar down onto a base, which would be water, and then run a wire up that cable into the sonar to have that running. You really got the possibilities to do whatever you want.
Imagine drilling all those panels and get them LEDs on it.
Yeah. Just going to say, I think the most profound thing Chris, the designer, has ever said in any of the Airfix videos, and this really hit me, and it opened up a light bulb to me. He said, when I was building the Mark 9 124 scale Spitfire, I've designed it, right, and I've created this model. I never create a model finished. I give you everything you need, give it to you, and it's you that finishes it. And that was so profound to me.
Yeah.
These engineers, these designers are only giving us the bone, and we're there to flesh it out and put the skin on. Because he said, and that was so profound. I was like, you're fucking right, mate. I was like, yeah. So then it's up to us then to make it as realistic or as nice as you want it to be. So if you do want to add raised rivets, you can. If you do want to put a wiring loom in, and that's where the aftermarket, which Dale did say that they are having these in talks with a lot of aftermarket suppliers, then it's them to go off and then create these extra pieces to make that model is the best model that you want it to be. You know,
Do you think Airfix will start putting like photo etch in their kits and stuff like that?
They can't. They won't though, because the age range goes up. Then you can't put photo etch. It's got to be like, I think it's 16 plus for photo etch because it's quite sharp.
16 plus.
Yeah, so they won't do that. They
Never
won't.
realised that.
Yeah, that's it. That's the reason why. If you look,
but speaking of photo etch, Ross, one of the things, and again, this goes back to the same point of the way that Airfix is thinking about it. Did you see there were two windscreens, two clear pieces for the windscreen in the?
In case you get one wrong.
No, it's one has windscreen wipers, and the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
And the one that doesn't just has the hubs, so that people can put photo etch ones there from the aftermarket. And I thought, how many manufacturers would design a kit specifically with an aftermarket, builder in mind? So you don't have to scrape those off and repolish and things.
But you have the same thing with the Spitfire.
There's nothing in it for them.
Yeah.
You have the same thing with the Spitfire canopy, where they put two of them, one with a seam on the middle, which people can sand. And if you don't want to have that trouble, you have the other one that doesn't have a seam. So,
yeah.
But read this comment, Moz. That's really interesting.
Sorry.
Didn't matter anyway when I spilled super glue all over my canopy on the shipment.
What did you say then, Nunu? What was it you said?
The comment from Steven that fellas put up.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, I just saw that then. I find that people who put too much detail can make newcomers shy away from doing models. They do it their own and it doesn't look as good and they get disheartened and stop doing the hobby. Yeah, I get that. I do get that. But, everyone's at a different level, isn't it? It's the same with artists, with painting. And, one of my other pastimes is doing die-cast restoration. And some of the die-casters have got all the tools, where I'm there, using a bit of super glue for a rivet and putting a rivet in. There are guys that have got, electric presses that actually dome the rivets, or dome the axles, different things with different people, and I think it's
the way I see it
is cooking, right? Like even in like anything creative, but even when you go to cooking, right? People get scared away from doing home cooking when all they watch are all these people that go above and beyond and do all these super things. But you can make something really awesome, really nice, and have a great time doing it without it being all of these extra things. It's fine if you want to do the extra, but it's also fine if you don't. And the same holds true for this hobby,
That's it. The way I see things is the different people, different skills. That's why we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have racing drivers, different people, different skills. Just find your happy medium and enjoy the hobby as much as you can with your happy medium. This is not a contest. It's not, I'm going to have to be the greatest ever. If you want to be, cool, just pursue that and do that. But don't be disheartened because your set of skills is not as good as the next one, because it is what it is. There's no way.
Just here's a picture up now of the actual cockpit, and I'll tell you what, that is
stunning.
It's absolutely mint. It's only one way to describe it. It's absolute mint.
This is screaming for LEDs.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Kit really is begging for it.
Yeah. Again, you've got raised rivet lines there, and a raised panel line. So it's spot on, really. It's absolutely spot on, and there it is, unmade. Lovely. I suppose there'll be photo etch there for the grills at the front, but look at the See, I'm looking at that now, and those not painted. My eyes are deceiving me. I think they look raised to me from a distance. Don't know whether you can see that. They look raised to me.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell whether they were
just don't
raised
even
or
register.
resets.
To me, just don't register. They're rivets either way. Looking at that, whether they're raised or not, I can see rivets.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's funny that the kind of people that would complain about the rivets not being raised are the same sort of people that would complain about kits just being assembly and there's no modelling involved. It's like, well, if you really believe that, it's your job as a modeller to make those recessed rivets look like they're raised, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Well, you see, thing is, modelling is actually, saying about assemblers, like the modelling part is actually, like you just said, just saying, you've got to put the effort into it. It's not, it shouldn't just be there. You know what I mean? The modelling part is adding the extra parts, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, to me, proper modelling is actually making a model from plans. Scratch from complete nothing. That's proper modelling.
That's fighting talk, silly.
I can't do that for love nor money, I'll admit that. But that's proper modelling. But, the kit's there to be built. And then, like it says, everything else, you add it yourself. If there's bits missing or there's bits you want to add, me and James have basically say this because we'll add some of the most stupidest details that are quite pointless and painstaking to do. But that's part of
Chris
it. Chris
actually even said it, didn't he? The model designer said, they had to look at, sometimes, which is why they have the big pen there to give him a sort of sense of reality. It's like he could create some details which actually, one, they couldn't tool, and two, you wouldn't actually see because they'd be too small. So there has to be a decision, that compromise that we mentioned before, about where do you actually stop. And it's not about creating that absolute, it's not a 1/48 scaled down rendition of the real thing because you can't do that. The rotors would be too thin, the skin of the aircraft would be too thin, it would just crumple it when you touched it. It's about creating the illusion of that. That's part of our job as modelers. So I don't get the criticism. It's just like that's what the kit is. Now, as as Chris said, and as you mentioned, Ross, now it's for us to do what we want to do with it.
Yeah.
You can build it straight out of the box. You can just paint it sky blue, pink with yellow dots on if you want to. That's our choice.
Put it a bird's nest.
Yeah.
Exactly. Saying, really.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes, man.
As I said, it was very profound to me when Chris said that, and it just made everything all clear. You can only do so much in plastic. The only thing I will say is that I think the team itself now have hired one of the most engaged rivet counters going, and he even admits it. He's one of the worst rivet counters going, but when it comes to accuracy, I think they will outstrip Tamiya. And give him another. Some people have said in the last 20 years. I would say in the last 10 years, their kits are right up there with Tamiya. Accuracy will probably be even better now. They've got researchers, but the engineers they've got as well. They've got young engineers. You wait till that Scout comes out. I think you're going to be. I know somebody moaned about there was no detail on the wing on the wheels. They didn't have a maker's mark. They're like, oh, don't be a div, But that was his point, and I spoke to Ethan. He goes, it's just licensing. You've got to keep the costs down. And to be fair, what's this kit? 55 quid for this kit?
59.
I reckon if Tamiya did this, it'll be like 100 quid. And at the end of the day, and I'll say this to anyone who just hates Airfix, you could put a Tamiya kit in an Airfix box and they'll still complain. But
But Airfix is the modelling punching bag, unfortunately, which is a shame.
Yeah, it is.
Airfix have a lot to prove.
Whatever you'll do, whatever they do. See, the 124 Spitfire I thought was really well detailed. This absolutely knocks the bollocks off that.
Yeah.
I think this is some, to me, this is like a turning point for them because that detail.
I hope so.
Yeah, I do. I think it's just sign of things to come from Airfix.
Can I just flip that around? I think that if you go back to the 124 scale Spitfire and the Anson had to be shit up because you have a lot of glass.
Yeah.
of the canopy fuselage. You've got a lot of glass there. So I think if you look back the last 3 years,
I go as far as the Buccaneer.
Yeah. Oh, the Buccaneer, man. Yeah.
The Buccaneer is absolutely stunning as well. I think Airfix, when they start to retool the starter sets, they came up a long way. And I think they took that piece of information of the starter sets and started applying to the 48 scale. And with the Answer, with the Buccaneer, with the Seeking, and I'm expecting an amazing Gannet, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that they're putting more trust.
Right.
I think they're putting more trust with the designers, which is
yeah.
That's a good question. John Parker just said then, do you think Airfix is pushing benchmarking away from the likes of Tamiya and Trumpeter? Yes, and yes. Like I said it on on a couple of chats. When I've been watching people talk about Airfix. I've said that things like the Anson and the Spitfire. If the Spitfire wasn't released and being so iconic, the Anson would have been kit of the year for me. But because it was the 1/24 scale Spitfire and that engine was phenomenal, the Anson was the kit of the year for me. The detail, you look at it, I look at it now and I'm thinking, I can't wait to have a play with that one. And it's just, and I was saying, you look at the kits that they've done in the last 4 or 5 years, it's incredible. So
I think it's one thing as well is, somebody mentioned price there. And to me, it's about value, because there's no doubt Tamiya can make some stunning kits, but you pay for that. Whereas Airfix, again, one of the things that they were saying was what we could do, and then thinking of price point. So I think Fenris, you mentioned before about figures. They didn't include figures or weapons for this kit, because if they did, they'd have to include different weapons for the HAS-1 and the HAS-3, which aren't used on the two either. They'd have to include different pilots and figures for each of the different eras, because you've got military pilots, you've got civilian pilots, you've got pilots from the 70s, the 80s and 90s, and the 2000s. So there'd be a lot of stuff, and that would push the price point up for no added value to 75% of people that bought the kit. So they'd rather leave that for the aftermarket and keep the price point reasonable. So to me, Airfix are doing all of this stuff behind the scenes to produce, let's call it a Tamiya level, because we all understand that kind of language kit, but for their same pricing structure, which to me is tremendous value. We're so lucky because we've got Airfix doing this. We've got the likes of ICM. We still have Tamiya pumping out their kits. The choice we have is phenomenal.
Yeah. But the thing with the
value is great.
The thing with the Tamiya is that most of the time you are paying for the fitting, right? Because Tamiya fitting is absolutely a shake and bake, okay? But the level of detailing and the accuracy is not always there.
Yeah.
Which I think is phenomenal with Airfix, and call me an Airfix fanboy as much as you guys want, but is that they are they are conciliating the accuracy with the fitting.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that Airfix is beating all the competition by miles, because they are thinking about the two things. They're thinking about the modeler on the fitting and how accurate it is. Obviously, that's a small thing that they're going to look away, but their accuracy is better than Tamiya by far, personally for me.
Could I just say that I built the Tamiya 1/72nd scale Mosquito when I thought it was a pile of shite. When you put in put the engines on, for instance, you've got that triangle shape at the back of the nacelle. I couldn't get it to go flush. I took it to bits. I cleaned it out, just wouldn't go flat. And I remember I talked to you about it, didn't I, Nunu, about it at the time?
Yeah, you did.
I couldn't get it to go flat. And in the end, I dry fit it. I did dry fit it. And I was thinking,
he did.
I remember talking to your mate on your Twitch about it. And I said, I've never had this before with a Tamiya kit. And apparently, sometimes there's a warpage there's a warpage just at that point that causes it not to go flat. So things happen, it does happen. So
every manufacturer has a dog kit.
Yeah.
No brand is immune to having a bad kit.
No.
I mean, the Tamiya Harrier, for example,
That's the pinnacle of the dog kit.
Yeah.
For Tamiya.
Anyway, where's Matt for Model Minutes? He's been a bit quiet.
I'm still here. Yeah, I was in the process of sending you an image of the P tube from earlier. That's how far back I am now. It's in Discord. I sent you an image of the P tube in Discord. But in the process, I took the memory card out of my camera. I dropped it on the floor and I moved my chair to find it. In the process of moving my chair, I rolled over the memory card, and now it doesn't work. Fortunately, everything that was on that memory card was already saved to a hard drive. So I'm just in the process of making sure that I have redundancy in the event that I lose something. Because there's video footage on there for stuff I haven't yet edited it. So I'm still here. I am listening. Yes.
just crying for his card.
What's your take on Airfix in the last 5 years? Then, what's your thoughts?
I think sort of pre-COVID, it was very Airfix don't engage with the community. Their spares department are no good. Their customer relations are terrible. The kits that they've been producing, they've been they were okay. The newer kits were good, but it's almost like they hadn't quite reached a peak yet. But I think because a lot of their old range, like I did that Seahawk, which was a 1957 tooling, was in a red box. So they were still mixing and matching, and then they stopped doing all of that, and they've gone, right, this is where we are as a company now. This is what we're changing. I think there was a period of I'd say from about 2019 to 2021, there was almost a period of we are sorting ourselves out, and now we're in a better, bigger position in order to engage with the community, show you what we're actually working on. It's almost like they had a bit of a backlog to get out of the way, and now they can really show us what they're proud of and what they could do with themselves.
Exactly. Could I just point out, I don't know why you have such trouble with the aftermarket department, but I think the trouble is, and this is my view on there, Airfix, that side of it is a brand thing, so it's all under the Hornby umbrella. So when you talk about Airfix as a company, I think that they are absolutely spot on with their kits, with the way they acknowledge all their social media is absolutely fantastic. I think Brooke has done a phenomenal job. All I got to do is say, "Hiya, can I have some information about this?" And I get it sent within 2 days. They're actually spot anything I need to ask questions on the spot on. Is it because it's Moz? I don't know. It could be, but if I get asked a question, I'm able to give back the answer. When it comes to the customer service, I've not had an issue per se.
I had a conversation with Dale about it. And they are effectively, although it's almost like what you said. They they cover everything. So the spares department, whilst they are employed by Airfix, they work on effectively different systems. They're not allowed to see my product history, my order number, all that sort of stuff. So even though I sent them my order number and my reference code, that doesn't really do anything for them because they're not allowed to see my account details for privacy reasons. So I said to them, why am I having this very confusing conversation? And they were saying that it's because they've got certain processes and certain channels that they need to go down in order to secure your spares. So sometimes, and they're obviously balancing a lot of different requests at the same time. So it can get a little bit confusing for them, which is fair enough if they've got a lot to deal with. But they are getting better, and I think that they're probably doing a bit of a better job than the Hornby Spares team. But in their defence, at least when I've had an issue, they have been able to sort it out.
Yeah, like the bomb bug, they sort. I had to go to and fro it because they said, "Are you a trade customer?" I says, "No, it's Moz." So I'll have a word with Dale. Oh, it's got its way to you tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, it was when we had the Jet Provost last year from Lidl. And
Yeah.
I just contacted the spares department because they had all those short shots, and they were effectively just saying, yeah, nothing to do with us, just return it straight to your to the seller.
Retail.
And I was like, well, this isn't just an isolated case, unfortunately. Ultimately, I said in the end, don't bother sending me out a spare, because the head of spares got in contact and said, look, we can try and fix this for you, but we don't technically have any of these in reserve. I said, don't send me one, because I've already built it. I've already used it for the content that I wanted to produce. So having the short shot wasn't a great issue, but other people have had issues. So fortunately, I think we've highlighted as a community where improvements can be made. When I had my last issue in an upcoming video, people will see what issue I had, and they did manage to rectify it for me within 4 days. So I know it's a bit disheartening because you expect to have a brand new product with everything out of the box ready to go, but it's like Dale said. He said to me, it's good that you get bad samples because it proves that you're not getting special treatment. However, why is it always you?
That was the joke. That was the joke when I spoke to Phil Flory at the weekend away. I said, "Oh, you've got a short shot," and he laughed, because he's somebody who gets a lot of short. The only thing I'm going to say is that I've had a few conversations with people, and they've always said that it's funny that when the kits are made in Korea, they don't have any issues. So there says it all, So, and that's what's been said on Brit Modeler and all sorts. That when I didn't hear of anyone having a problem with the Katie, and they also because it's Korea, not India. So it's one of them. I've ever had a problem, they've always sorted out for me. Long as you've got that batch sticker on the back of the kit, that little white sticker.
Yeah.
That little white sticker on the back. I know I was on time. I'll show it again when I'm on big screen. But that's what they need. So they can go back and say, oi, But anyways, we want to quickly move on because I want to get on to Nunu's bench and have a look at the kit proper. But these are the schemes. So it's XV666.
That's my pick right there.
That's lovely, that isn't it? And that's over. Is that the needles? Is that what they call the needles? That picture. Anyway, all right. So you got the scheme. So this is it. A scheme, which is Codros in Cornwall in 1970. So there you've got the 5.
The model minutes blue.
Model minutes blue.
That's the one.
Yeah. And then the B scheme, which is does it show it? Oh, it's 6 there. So that's the 6. So there you go. There's the 6 again. It's on the rotor there on the wheel, on the rear there. I like the C scheme. I got to confess, the C scheme. I love the Ace of Clubs on it. That I wish that was on every single scheme, to be honest. But that's the kind of thing I would do if I was doing the blue scheme and I see a decal that I like. I'd put it on, and bollocks to the rest of yours. You can judge me all you like.
This is funny because it comes up as orange everywhere, but when I was looking at the one in the actual historic helicopters, it was like a dark cherry sort of red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like printing or.
No, even the color call out goes for signal red.
Yeah. See, I noticed. See, like, if you go back here, have you noticed it's a really blue, but it's more like a grey on the decal, on the call out that they have, the digital, not the model itself, the digital call out. And I presume it's a dark navy sea grey, that wouldn't it? I don't know. But as I said, it doesn't always match, does it? So, and then the final one is this orange one, which is the one that we see the pictures of, which it's still in use now, 2022. So what does that make it? 52 years old, and it's still flying. It's incredible, isn't it?
It's older than me, and it's in much better nick.
Yeah.
There you go. Between that scheme C and scheme D, I like both of those a lot.
Yeah.
There's your lighthouse.
So there's your lighthouse there.
Yeah. That's the
There's
one.
the lighthouse. That's the one. That's the money shot. That is, isn't it? You know
I
what I mean?
know where that is.
Yeah.
I've forgotten what it's called. It's in Cornwall. I've been to it a few times.
And then we got into the historic helicopters, but so yeah, and that's it. See, that's the one I wanted. I want to do that one, but there isn't actually a tooling of that. I don't think. I think Italeri did one, but it's based off the Sikorsky, I think, if I remember rightly. But Mr. Andrew Whitehouse, thank you very much, sir. We'll go onto your website in a minute, but I want to get on to. I want to leave that. I'm going to stop the screen now. I'm going to stop. Is that stopped? Has that come off yet? No. What am I doing?
What are you doing?
I don't know. What am I doing?
Is this the live unboxing part? Is it?
Yeah.
Answers in the comments on the chat.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go back. Oh no, not me. Don't go. There you go. That's better. We're back. We're back. Oh, I don't
They're
like
saying
that.
it's
I don't
Durdle
like that.
Door. The rocks that you talk about on the helicopter picture. That's Durdle
Yeah.
Door.
All right. It's not the needles then. I thought it was the needles. Sorry. Anyway. So anyway, let's go on to Nunu's bench now because he's got the kit there, so he can then do an unboxing for us, and then we could just talk about his the kit he got from Dale. Bless him, Dale. So there you go. This.
Nice.
And to be fair,
Thank you, Dale.
the box is phenomenal. It's a really good, well packed, sturdy box. So.
I do like that about Airfix releases recently, that the box is the right size for all of the sprues, and the sprues fill the box, so you don't need extra packaging. How many times have you bought a model kit and you just slide it and everything just moves down the box?
Yeah,
Revel.
Exactly.
Mr. Kraft.
Mr. Kraft, yeah. Well, Mr. Kraft normally has one sprue in it and then a box. This one. Hey! Anyways, so this is what you can see there. You've got the two canopies there, one with the wipers on and one without. Wipers on, wipers off.
Yeah, you have the one with the wipers on.
Yeah.
And then you have the one with off, with the wipers off. It's really lovely, nice and crisp details, clear. There's not much we can moan about it.
No.
I will say it's super clear.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
There's almost no optical distortion when you look through it. It's really good.
Yeah.
We have
Plenty. What sprue number is that one? Look at the detail on the plastic there, where your little finger is. You see all the detail there. It's just there's the radar.
This is Sprue E.
A Sprue E, is it?
Yeah, and you can see the details.
Yeah. So you get two size domes as well. You get like you get the slim one and you get the fat one as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the bottom.
Incredible detail, isn't it?
Yeah, the rivets on there.
Yeah.
You have the front of the nose.
Is this their new normal now, like with their quality and their detail level?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be.
One can only hope.
The plastic stitching.
So 1/72 scale, you're going to get the odd rivet detail and you're going to get panel lines. But you go bigger than 1/72 scale, this is what you're going to start seeing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
This is the radar station that we were watching, and you can see.
That looks good.
Yeah, the amount of detail that you have as well.
Yeah.
So it's really good. Just Sprue G, there's not much to see apart from, again, details of the instrument panels is absolutely delicious.
Delicious. It's very, very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now we go to the floor.
All raised panels there as well.
All raised panels there.
Yeah.
You have the
little bit of pipe work, some lumen as well.
pipe work on there. Yeah. The doors.
Which sprue's got the P tube on it then?
That's a good question, Moss. You have the details here of the back wall with the crease to simulate the fabric as well.
Yeah.
The injector pins are also on the inside.
B32 is the P-tube Moz.
Is it really? We have to look for B32.
B?
B.
It was this. Wasn't
B32.
No, this is A. Where is B? B. This is C. I will keep an eye for B.
Keep an eye out for B. Well spotted there, James.
The fuselage.
So you would not get away with raised rivets on that, would you? Be honest, folks. Come on.
No.
Let's put your cocks away. There's no way that's going to. There's no way you'll be able to get raised rivets on that. Definitely not.
And the thing that I think is astonishing is to get in the overlap.
The overlap on the front
detail.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really nice to design that bit.
When you get to here and here, you can get the overlap details on there. So for me, again, the seats with the creases as well. And one thing I absolutely love is this, the mesh, as we were talking.
Really good.
On here. It almost doesn't need photo etch.
I was going to say, you wouldn't need photo etch with it that detailed, would you?
No. A thin paint, and you have the sides here as well, and sides are even tinier.
Look at that.
That looks really good.
It's almost as good as photo etch, that is.
Yeah.
No. I would be happy with it. A thin coat of paint and some wash would you get away with it. But, oh, here we go.
Oh.
Here we go. B32, you said?
B32.
B32, there you go.
Hey, there it is.
Here's that. But again, it's all
scale.
Again, you have loads of details. You have the tail section on here.
Yeah.
You can see all the details on there. So it's quite good. You have more stuff on here.
Yeah. It is. It's.
And again, the crease on the seats it's really good, and makes our life a lot easier to replicate the crease on the worn-out. Then we have the plates. You have the rotor heads.
Yeah.
Which I'll turn around so that you guys can see both sides.
Yeah. So one folded and one unfolded.
Yeah. So this is pretty much it. You have the little handles on there as well, which again, I'm flabbergasted with pieces like this one.
Yeah.
There's no flash on it. It's amazing. The level of detail that you can get is amazing. And that's it, spruce wise. Then you have the decals. For it, which for me looks really good as well.
Dude, just out of asking, what are Tamiya decals like in the 2020s? Are they as good as Cartograph, or Cartograph better than Tamiya?
There's a lot of moaning around the community about Tamiya decals, but like everything else, some people say it's good, some people say it's bad.
Yeah, I think a fairly new one, and the printing was nice, but they were a bit thin.
Yeah.
I destroyed a couple quite easily. That's painted by hand.
You said the Tamiya decals were thin?
Yeah.
The one
Interesting.
It was. I don't know how new it was. I think it's a relatively new one. It was one of the zeros.
Well, I know that they used to be, too thick all the time, and then I went through an era where it seemed like they were okay, so they may be going thinner.
Yeah,
I could see that.
It's not like wafer thin, but they're a bit thin. But I mean, I think at the moment, almost anything is better than Edard's new decals.
Just quickly, John Alex asked about the blades. Now, one set are squared at the end. The other set are rounded at the end, aren't they? Because you've got those two.
So you have So these ones, I'm assuming they are the closed ones.
No.
Because of the...
No, it's the
the-
end.
Oh,
you
go
go
to the open. Okay.
Go
They're
to
for
the end. Go
HAS.
to the other end. The
So you
other
don't have to
end.
glue halves together. Oh my gosh.
No. So there you go.
No,
So
you don't
the
have to glue. It's just
square-
one piece.
So you got.
Okay,
so you
good.
see they're dead square at the end, and then they go curved at the end. So they're like rounded
Yeah.
edge at the end. So you got square ones and curved ones at the end.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Yes.
Cool.
I've heard reports that the
Please
Tamiya
just-
decals, the problem with the thickness is only with military and aircraft kits. Apparently, with cars, they're really thin.
Okay. Understand.
Yeah. And this is the version I'm gonna go for.
Look at that.
Tamiya,
Yeah, that's version
Just on
E.
the rotors, one of the things that I don't know if you knew this, Moss. So Chris designed the rotor piece, the centerpiece, so you can build it so the rotors spin.
Really?
Yep. So step 139, the little rotor attachment piece, says do not glue. So he says there's even a provision. He said he would love it if somebody can get a little electric motor in there. Get it?
Shameless.
Little history could do that. Little history could do that for us, definitely. Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome,
Yeah.
sir.
Brilliant.
I tell you, looking at that, Mars, do you want to just quickly jump on mine?
Yeah, hang
Because
on.
I've got a 48 Sikorsky,
Yeah.
which has, I don't know what this is going to pick up, which has raised rivets.
Really?
That's a Revell one, that is. But if you look at the, I mean, this is Erdard, so it's a little bit different. And that's recessed.
Mm.
I mean, that looks way better than the raised ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it looks
They
like a cheese grater.
Yeah.
I mean, from a distance, painted, probably looks all right. But up close,
cleaning up cleaning up a wash off of all those rivets, it will be
yeah.
horrendous.
I mean, I've got to try and deal with that seam.
Oh my word.
Wow. That's a Revell.
Hardly not so.
I was about to say. I was wondering where the Revell would pop up.
That's
It
the
is
Grand
Revell.
Canyon.
I mean, I've actually at the present moment I've shelved this.
Just
Don't blame you.
Some
I got
plaster,
pissed.
silly.
I was a bit gutted really because I was looking forward to do this because May got this for my birthday. I was really looking forward to doing it, and it just brassed me off. All that did. So I went to Erdard for some easy modelling.
Do it landed on water, then you don't have
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is though, you're not going to see the bottom, so I'm not overly worried about that.
Yeah.
Or do a crash scene.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting point from Dale. Also, people were asking whether they would bringing out a USA version, and he said no because they need to have a license for it. Then, if they do this the Western one, there's no licensing for it. So, yeah,
Which is
so
sad
don't-
but understandable.
Yeah. You building yours now, James? Are you?
No. I love so much about this kit. It's really good, apart from the fact that there's no stuff on the inside. I know that's not a big thing for a lot of people,
Yeah.
but they could have done a little bit more paneling or fabric representation on the interior piece.
Maybe that's for you to get some.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm not.
I can tell you,
You
I
know,
think I know how to do that.
you've got a budget and you've got to stick to it. That's just the one thing I looked at and thought, oh, I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you just want to put me up, Moss. I'll
No,
show
I
you what
don't.
you can see of the inside.
Just because you got you on air.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, look at that.
you don't see an awful lot when. So I've done the complete dipping sonar assembly. I think
Yeah.
you can just see those two screens looming out at you.
Oh
Two eyes. That's about it. And then can you see the P
Yeah.
tube? I'm not sure whether you can get the light. Let's see if I can get some light in there for you.
Oh yeah, there's the P tube.
Not really.
No, I can see-
Oh yeah, you can see the P tube.
Yeah, it's there.
There it is.
How does it go together, Alex? Is it nice?
P tube.
It goes together nice.
But yeah, so it does. So this is actually just, this isn't glued together. So I can show you. So we talk about fit. So that's the inside. That's all cemented together. That's where I'm at the assembly. This was all just push fit on. The engineering is that good that it will just fit together and not come apart. So
fair enough.
Yeah, it's been super easy to build so far.
I have got the picture here now from Matt. Can you see that?
Oh,
It's even got some rag there in case you spill and you've got to wipe it up. It's even got an oil splatter one there, like that soaks it all up there on the left. So, yeah. There you go. There's your Peachy. I did promise I would share their website, so I'm going to share it with everyone because I think it's a must. Because they were so welcoming, historic helicopters. The bacon sandwiches were amazing. The bacon sandwiches, and if you were there in the afternoon, like you went down for a cup of tea after you'd been out to see the King's Landing, they had this amazing salted chocolate brownie that me and Dale had a couple of slices of, like, you know, over our cup of coffee, like, you know. So I'll just go in and share it. Before, you can't just go to historic. Where is it? There you go. You can't just go to historic. What's it called? Historic helicopters. You've got to book in, I believe.
They do have open days, but you need to go on their website. The website's the best place to look.
But these are all the helicopters they've got. So, like the Whirlwind, the Wessex, they've got another one there, which is, I don't think they're going to rebuild that one. I think he's way past it. So, there's the Sea Kings. There's the Westland Widgeon there. No, that's not the West Widgeon. That's the Sea King there, and it's Sea King. They haven't got a picture of the Widgeon, but that's in a bit of a state. But I like to see that one getting flown again. And that's the one I thought they were going to do, was the Western Lynx AH7. I would like to see that in a 172. They haven't done that one for a while. So, but there you go. And they haven't got the picture up of the President's one, have they?
Oh, Marine One.
Yeah, they haven't got Marine One up here in that colour. But we suggest that if you'd like to sign up to their newsletter, which is £10 a month. If I click on it, it should open, shouldn't it? So £10 a month, and you'll get information when they have their open days. And you can go to their open days where they, you know, if you want to fly in one of these, it's £6,500, I believe. So if you want to, but yeah, you can become a member of.
And by the way, if you want to buy one, they will have one for sale. $1 million.
Oh, they do. Yes. Was it £6 million in it or something?
1 million, I believe.
£1 million.
Yeah.
So if you want to become one, you'll get an update every month. You get videos, not put on social media, engineer stories, pilot stories, quizzes, competitions, information about our air show dates and open day, an exclusive area at Charge Historical Helicopter open days, and memorabilia for reaching key timelines in your membership, and an exclusive hangar tour for members only. So if you want to become a member, go to historichelicopters.com/memberships, or just go onto the website, go to memberships, and please help Andrew and his team continue the great work they've been doing. We all applauded them, and I applaud them now. They are an incredible bunch of people, really, really good. So yeah, it was excellent.
They were really welcome. Yeah, they don't get funding from anywhere else, do they, Moss? Because they also do a lot of work with people with PTSD. So people who have been in conflicts like Afghanistan and stuff. So they do really good work, and funding is the one thing that they don't get money from anywhere else. They have to do these events. So well worth supporting.
God, what were you saying, James? OPJ, what were you saying?
I was just saying that they're a really welcoming team, and they were really happy to answer any questions.
Yeah,
yes, indeed.
It's just a genuinely good bunch of people.
Yeah, they were generally.
and all of them ex-military or active military. The non-military on that team is the lady, I believe, that flies the helicopters. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the only civilian organisation to be flying these things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is excellent. There was one other thing I was going to say, and I just lost my train of thought then. Yeah, they are. There's an incredible bunch of lads down there and lasses keeping that going. And remember, as I said, it's. I didn't know this, whether you did or not. I don't know whether you did, Matt, more than a minute. That they don't get paid to do air shows. They expect them to go along, fly the helicopter around, and not get a single penny for it. That kind of pissed me off a little bit, because you go to an air show, you could spend 25, 30 quid, can't you?
Just to get in.
Yeah.
Just
to get
Don't
in.
you? Did he told you the story of the latest model show that they went? The model show, air show.
What,
they were asking for either the one in Belgium or one in the UK. They were asking for a donation to take pictures with the helicopter, and they got a bollocking from the aviation or from government saying that no, they can't do that because it's not an air show.
Wow.
They got the bollocking for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy.
All right. So, has anyone in the chat got any questions for us about the Sea King or the day itself? Please feel free to put them in the chat. Fenris will keep an eye on them. Lads, again, I personally really enjoyed it being with you guys. To be fair, it was great to meet up again. The last time we met up was at was it the Crater Day? That's the last time we all met up, wasn't it? Was it the Crater Day?
No, Factory Day.
Factory Day, wasn't it? Yeah. That was the last time we all met up. It was great to meet Alex for the first time.
Yes.
It was really cool.
Yeah, it's great to meet you guys, because I hadn't met anybody before then. So
So it was a good day out. I saw James LPJ at where was it to again? It was
Westland, the helicopter
Westland
museum.
Helicopter Museum, and we had a quick chat then about what it might be. But Hobby Barn's got to go. Nice to see you, mate. Hope you're well.
Yes.
So yeah, it was great to meet up with you all, and and also it's great to meet other scale model creators, i.e. Phil from Floyd Models, who made quite an interesting point about the glass being not enough meat on the glass to glue onto the fuselage, and he had a bit of a debate. You can see it on my live stream. He had a bit of a debate with Chris about could they have not gone a little bit further up, but they went to the panel line apparently, but it made it very tight space.
I saw that, and I think that he was saying that it was by the crew door.
Yeah.
It would have been almost impossible to fart around with anyway.
Is that what he said? Was it? I didn't quite overhear it, but I recorded it, but I wasn't quite sure. But you see it a lot. Phil was saying a lot in a lot of models these days. There's not a lot to bind the canopy to the plastic, and it would have been nice to have a little bit more meat to play with, if you see what I mean. So you don't fog it up. But yeah, it's great to see a champion scale modeling. He brought his wife with him. When I go to these events, I go on my own. I want to be left alone. You know what I mean? But I met Champion, had a good chat with him. He's a really nice chap. He's a good lad. He is good lad. He was there, and he was the first one to get his unbox out because he just lived right around the corner. So, which was cool. Who else did we meet up there? Oh, we met. Tamiya never turned up, did they? Tamiya magazine never showed up, and they were invited.
Sorry, did you mention World of Wayne? He was there.
Oh, World of Wayne, he was there. I didn't speak to him much, though, unfortunately. I didn't speak to him much.
We have the IPMS president as well there.
Yeah, IPMS.
And editor.
We had Phoenix Publications.
Phoenix Publications.
World editors.
Yeah.
We have that one, that model officer, I believe, as well. And Malcolm from Model for Years. Yeah, Malcolm from Models for Years.
Yeah.
He was there.
Hello.
Yeah, good job he had. He hasn't. You know, he got his footage down onto a hard drive, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Did you? You know, just relax and unclench that you had it on your hard drive.
I know, I had it all saved. It was the whole Hurricane, the Revell Hurricane build was on that memory stick. I would have lost all of that. I'd have a model built with nothing to show for it.
You say you did lose it, or have you got it back?
I've lost. No, I've got the footage because I saved it to my laptop the other day. But the entire memory card, it's just in pieces on the inside now. So I need a new one.
Yeah. Quick question. Oh, yeah, by the way, Gary's stuff was there as well. Bless him, he was there filming, and he disappeared for ages because we were having our dinner. And he wasn't there, so he was up there filming, I think.
He had loads of burning questions for the Airfix guys, and you know, fair play to him. He got his camera out. I had nice little interviews with them.
Brilliant, fair play to him. Jim, we have mentioned this already. Yeah, they will not be making an American version of the Sea King because it would involve licensing. So while it's basically it's Westland, so with a license, so a lot more lenient.
I think people here would probably make the Stallion anyways, or one of the naval or Marine Corps helicopters. Probably not the Sea Stallion because that's just really gigantic. But
a lot of people were saying they were going to do the Apollo rescue helicopter with it, or the Apollo. It was the Apollo.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Which I may add, that would be the latest kit to be released that had something to do with space.
Yeah, that's great for the real space guys.
Yeah. We don't do enough space in this hobby. We need more space.
I'm really hoping somebody's going to do something with the Artemis stuff here soon. I really am.
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere along the line. John Parker, I'd like to see a good Super Freelon released in any scale, but 70-second scale would be good. Email them. Email Airfix, marketing at airfix.com, whatever it is, and just tell them what you think they should build. And they do listen. You know, even I was doing my live stream and Dale came up and I was chatting to him on the live stream. And people were asking questions. New Tornado. Yes, we've been asked a lot for that one. So, you know what I mean? Unless he had a tail, then I don't know what they're building. The updates really are the Scout's on its way the next couple of months, which is going to be an awesome kit. There's the Rotodyne's due out next soon as well. But remember this kit here. If you want to go and pre-order it, there's a link in the description box below where you can pre-order the Sea King, and you will get it because it's due out in 3 weeks now, isn't it? Middle of August. So you've got 3 weeks to wait. But also, there's another question. What do you guys think? I think this was absolutely the best way of releasing a model. Why bother at the beginning of the year doing a range launch of we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this? You've created some of the biggest hype now. I know it'd probably be expensive to do it to every single kit. But to have at least 2 a year, so one in the March, which is what they kind of did, wasn't it? Didn't they launch the fact they were bringing out the F-35B with the dam busters, and then they released it in the February-March. You only had like about 2 months wait, but that's the only one that they've done. But I reckon 2 kits a year, one in March, one in August. That'll be pretty cool, I reckon. I think they played a blinder here, gentlemen. I think they played a blinder.
It's certainly different.
Well, any reason to go up and see a kit reveal and get a sandwich and a lunch out of them,
And the quiche was good.
It was a good spread, to be fair.
It was a good spread.
You guys
I put a little leaf of lettuce on there just to say that I had some salad.
It was a salad of bacon.
I'll tell you the other thing that I found interesting going through the build of this kit, Moss, is that there are parts that are not used by any version.
Yet.
But then you can work out what's going to come in the next. They won't do it next year. They'll probably do a re-release in 2 years' time.
Get a yellow one.
Yeah,
they've given themselves a lot of latitude, I think, with possibilities on this. I mean, both with just straight decal reissues and alternative versions. So, which we've seen with the Spitfire as well. The redundancy kind of built into it, which is smart.
Was there any missing sprues? It went from A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Was there a missing F and then there was a H instead? Because normally you see that, don't you? They jump a frame number or frame letter. Was there any of that, or are they all in?
No, they're all.
No, they are in. Yeah, that's the question.
Okay, fair enough. Because normally, there was one kit the other day, and it went from D to F. I think there must be another kit which is the E. Oh, what was it? Was it the Meteor? It might have been the Meteor, the release they did for the Airfix club members. It didn't have an E, it had an F instead. So I think that's what it was anyway. So yeah, it was all good. RAF, HAR3 and a HC4. Could be. But there'll definitely be a yellow one in the next reiteration. There's got to be a yellow one. They can't get away without doing a yellow one. So that's going to be it. Right. So any more questions in the chat? Because we've gone through a hell of a lot tonight. Crazy Look has given us a £20 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. Always a pleasure, my friend.
You are so awesome.
He's a good lad. He is. He's a good lad.
So generous.
I want to get him on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He deserves.
Yeah.
He's hidden. The mayonnaise. Oh yeah. I'm just going down through the chat. Yeah, can't wait till they do the yellow one. I think the yellow one is going to be a sea rescue one, because that's the ones I remember. And even in the video, they used the yellow one, didn't they? What is the marking of the yellow one?
I think that's why I was so not disappointed. That's the wrong thing, because I've ordered the kit and I can't wait to build it and stuff. But our local RAF base here is RAF Boomer, which had 2 Seeking squadrons. Yeah. So like I did with the Chipmunk, the first thing I did was I got my old cadet record book out to see which the Sea Kings I got a flying 2. So I'm really hoping there's going to be some aftermarket comes out. Yeah. So I'm getting in the habit of trying to build aircraft that I've been in. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I was gutted when there was no yellow scheme, but then they've got to get the bank. They've got to get their money's worth, haven't they? So
they have, yeah. And also I reckon that because you're so hyped up to build this one, when is it the HAR3? I think
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. When they release that one, we're just going to go out and build that one up. They're going to have 4 different yellow schemes in one kit. You know what I mean? So that would be pretty cool.
How long will it be before there is some aftermarket decals though, straight off the bat for this?
Oh, there'll be 2 or 3 weeks. I bet Hannon's are there now with extra decal. You know, it'd be interesting.
Well, we had one is on the 3D printer already.
Oh, yeah. But like I said, you can do what you want with the kit. Now Chris has designed it. It's up to us guys now to make what we want out of it, really, isn't it? So I'm just going to, wait for everybody to do theirs, see the mistakes, and then build it myself.
It's a starting point for expression.
Mind you, I'm in the middle of doing the bomb bug anyway, so I'll be building it too quick. I want to get that bomb bug finished before I move on to anything else. But anyway, so I think we're pretty much done. What's that you sent there, LPJ? Is that already out? Is it?
Yeah, no, it's just yellow one because the Hasegawa kit was available. There's going to be markings already available, so I just found them.
That's a good shout. That is a really good shout. Yeah, they probably Did Tannery do a Sea King? No, they did Sikorsky, didn't they? They did Sikorsky, didn't they? 148. Which
the German stuff isn't bad. I've been happy with their German products.
You're not? No.
No, I am.
Who was it you had problems with? Did you have problems with ICM, John? Was it you that had issues with ICM?
Yeah, and I hate blaming kits. I don't like to just outright blame manufacturers, but I had 3 in a row where it was just such a struggle to keep them plumb, keep them, balanced and even, and the fitting and the part prep. And so I've just kind of stepped away from them just for a little bit. But,
yeah, fair enough. Hazzy Sea King 148 is a quite recent re-release too, but you need a lot of conversion bits for a Westland build. That's what I mean. They've gone for Westland, not Sikorsky. So you would definitely not find an issue there. But anyway, it's 9:45. I've got nothing else really to share. I'm not going to do an auction tonight. I'm going to do an auction next week. So I wanted to concentrate on this being quite. We've got all the lads here that were there, and if we have any more questions quickly, I'll put them through. But I think sometimes have to get going. I know Model Officer had to go because he had to pick up his wife. But honestly, all I can say from my heart, thank you so much, Airfix, for such a wonderful, excellent day again. Treated us to food, treated us to a kit. No question was unanswered apart from what you're going to build next, what's in the pipeline. As per. But everything was. I was talking to I think it's called the product manager. I think he's called, or the guy who's above Dale, and he was telling me that the next kit he thinks that we're all going to love is that new Land Rover. He reckons that absolutely spot on, that Land Rover. So
the start set one.
Yeah, he reckons that's going to be mint. And I said, I said, so you got the Beetle coming up next because I got the Land Rover right last year. I expect the Beetle or a Ford GT next. He just kind of smacked. So we'll wait and see. But as I said, the Scout's going to be brilliant. The other new. That's the only other new kit, isn't it? I can't think of any other new kits now. New tools.
Gannet. 48 Gannet.
Oh, the Gannet. Yeah, the Gannet. I forgot about the Gannet.
The Ferret.
That's going to be a kit.
It's new, and I'm still waiting for that 180th Great Western, man.
Hasn't that come out yet?
No, not yet. But it's a.
Yeah.
That's a re-release, right? So
yeah.
But
you're a braver man than I, John.
Yeah.
I want to do it, man. I've had it on pre-order since January or February. I can't wait to get that thing.
Yeah. With that vac form sale as well, I'm trying to cut that motherfucker out. I tell you,
it's all right.
So you got the Ferret Scout, you got the Rotodyne, you got the Land Rover, then you've got the Gannet, and I think that's it. Then that's all the kits that we're waiting on. I can't think of any others. Oh no, and the DB5 as a starter set. That's due out.
Oh, the Aston Martin.
Yeah, the DB5. Is it DB2 or DB5?
Is that the James Bond one?
James Bond one. That's being re-released. So you're seeing a pattern forming here, guys. So, but anyways, I think that's it. Go on now.
If the detail and fit and engineering everything of the Sea King is anything to go by, the Gannet. If we're going to get the same thing with that, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think the timing between the two, putting the Sea King here is quite smart. Keep us tide us over to the Gannet.
Well, thinking about it, we're right bang in the middle of the year, aren't we? July, August. We're right bang in the middle of it. So, a lot of the pre-orders are going out with all the other kits that we've had. But the Gannet's going to be a big one, definitely. Because that's the one you wanted to build, wasn't it, Sully? That's the one you're itching to get your hands on. But then again, we're talking here now. Yeah, we're talking here now to guys that are now saying, "I'm waiting for Airfix." I don't hear, "Oh, I'm waiting for Tamiya to release this." I'm waiting for Atalary's this or ICM's this. I know Peter Oxley said he did a video quite funny. I actually quite laughed at it. This is the helicopter you really want, and he had that big 1/35th scale ICM. What's it called now? I didn't remember. Yeah, he had that as a video. He was invited, but he never turned up. He had other reasons. I know. Sadly, what's it called? Was invited as well. He was just on here a minute ago. Nigel, but his dog's really poorly, so he couldn't make it, sadly. But he's a guy I wouldn't mind spending 10 minutes having a chat with over a Calico, definitely. with his builds. So yeah, but if you are invited to these events, they are worth their weight in gold. Just not particularly of the model. The model is a bonus, but to actually get to chat to the guys behind Airfix.
The whole experience and package.
Yeah.
And they were genuinely nice set of guys, aren't they? I mean, you couldn't wish for better. I really hope this and the other kits do well for them.
Yeah,
so they deserve it.
You're willing them on, aren't you? You're willing them on.
Yeah.
So definitely.
I've been fortunate as well.
Sorry, James.
I've been fortunate enough to be on 3 of their events, and all of 3, they've never let us down. They have been absolutely amazing hosts, and I can fault them to a T.
Cool.
Yeah.
When the next one happens, which I presume will be in Margate, we have to go out the night before and all go out for a curry with the F.
No, it's going to be Duxford. To the lunch off the Gannet.
Yeah, Duxford. It's going to be that. And then what we'll do is we'll all get drunk the night before, get Dale on the old IPA, and then we'll
get all the secrets.
We'll get all the secrets out of him. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You're going to say something, James?
I forgot what it was.
You've enjoyed them, though, haven't you, James? You found them really entertaining and good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't make the second one. Made the first one. That was amazing. Long drive.
That was massive.
Yeah, it was so long. But it was worth it. And the helicopter one, fantastic. You know.
Yeah, I was looking forward. You know, it's for us. It was just around the corner, wasn't it? You know, for me, Alex, you. The Margate is a bit of a grind getting up the M25 and around it. Just mind you, I didn't go that way. I went up to Worthing and Hastings that way because I've got family there, so I went up that way. But I remember that in my Airfix video that I said that now that Hornby are in charge, they're really leading Airfix into a new realm. I think it's the other way around. I think Airfix are leaving Hornby behind.
Yep.
I think, just
there was a change when they got it, but yeah, I think that what Hornby has offered them, they've been able to take and run.
Yeah, I think now they've been. Well, basically, they're all like startups within a brand, aren't they? They're all treated like startups, aren't they? So, and they got to, they have some things they share. But you got to remember that, it's Corgi and all that are still big brands of Hornby, So there are things happening, but you got to remember that, like, you got Humbrew. Apparently, there's only 2 guys behind Humbrew. That's all there is. Imagine if they could. Have 4 or 5 people behind the brand and actually pull themselves out, or just get rid of it and call it all Airfix. Do that. Yeah. Anyways, that's Shall I do the intro again? Because I quite enjoyed the intro. I'll put the intro out again for everyone and to say goodbye to. So you can all have a little watch again of that. But anyway, thank you, James LPJ Models, Sully Scale Models, John Alex Scale Modeling, Matt for Model Minutes, Alex for Man Model Moments, Harley Scale Models, Dave, and Nuni from Plastic Anglers. Thank you for joining me on tonight. Thank you also.
Thank you so much.
Model Officer popping in. And we will see you next week on Airfix and Chill. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you
next week, guys.
Bye-bye.
The cat's out the bag. We're producing a 1/48 scale brand new tool, Sea King.